hooked in the game.
Give me a break, need another life. Oh, need another life, life. Give me a break, need another life.
We're live from Molineux today, where Arsenal receive positive news of the return of Bukayo Saka, and have also got hope that maybe Alexander Isak could beat Erling Haaland's goal-scoring record. He's now just 14 behind. Well, in the reverse fixture for the very first game of the season was between these two. Wolves and Arsenal was at the Emirates Stadium, and Arsenal won by 2-0. And as we said in the match commentary against Arsenal and Fenerbahce, Arsenal have been very much improved since then, not least of all in the goal scoring department. And today they welcome back Bukayo Saka after a month or so out with an injury. So Wolves' job just got even tougher than it already was, facing this juggernaut side. Isak also starts today as opposed to the Champions League when he came off the bench and scored 2 goals. So it doesn't matter where Isak is, he's still a threat to score. And Wolves, well, let's hope they can do something. They're battling relegation with the likes of Everton and Southampton and Ipswich Town. They've been bottom for most of the season, unfortunately. It just hasn't really gone their way. And even the odd win seems a long, far away way now. And, well, they're coming up against the second place in the league as well, so the golfing clash should be obvious. But Wolves will hope to spring a surprise, but it does seem very unlikely. Well, let's have a look at the lineup today. Jose Sa is in goal this time around. He was on the bench last time out. Nelson Semedo gets a start. Angel Correa, who signed from Atletico Madrid, of all places, is actually making the start, and he's a profitable goal scorer in his own right. Taking a look at the Arsenal side, of course, David Raya always starting in goal ahead of Jennings. Lenny Yoro gets another start today with Timber, White and Tierney. It's the front three of Saka with Gyökeres and Isak, and a very young midfield three. Miles Lewis-Skelly with Fabio Vieira and Charlie Patino in a very interesting midfield three for Arsenal, as Arteta seems to keep trusting his young players. They really have delivered this season, to be fair, so that trust is warranted. And here is Vieira now. So Gyökeres gets a stint with Isak and Saka on his team. And that, in itself, looks an absolutely killer front three for Arsenal. Like, that is... It has the potential to be one of the most deadliest attacks in the league. And let's be honest, they have already proved it. Isak is currently sitting on 23 goals for the league this season. The record is 36. So he is steadily heading towards that number. But Gyökeres and Saka will probably want theirs as well. So I wonder if that'll... Everyone's seeing it might cause some friction. I don't think so. These guys want to win a title. I don't think they really care about individual awards. When you play for Arsenal, you just want trophies. Especially after a 5-year trophy drought after the FA Cup in 2020, which was Mikel Arteta's first and only real silverware that he's won outright. But the seeing an improvement is there, and now it all just needs to come to fruition in a couple more in the trophy cabinet now, and they certainly look odds on for at least something. 1-1 in the Carabao Cup semi-final between Manchester City. In the last 16 of the Champions League, they automatically qualified. last time out against Fenerbahce, and still chasing a relentless Manchester City side in the league as well, who haven't lost all season long. Nottingham Forest, they're sort of on the outskirts of the relegation battle up there in 16th. That's not going to do Wolves' mood any good. They've taken the lead, and Isak almost gives Arsenal the lead here. It's the corner. Saka taking up captain duties today on his return from Martin Odegaard, who of course played on Tuesday. So Arteta is into his load management mode again. But only with Odegaard, not with Saka or Isak today. He wants goals first, then White with the cross. That was almost Charlie Patino getting on the end of that. And Correa, assigned from Atletico Madrid. And here he is. Certainly a capable goal scorer in his own right. And Wolves need goals, big time. And good header away there by Totti and out to Doyle. Well, I think goals against, I think that's Arsenal. They have conceded a goal a game. Now, that sounds bad, but when you add the fact that there's been 22 goals, it's really not that big of a deal. That's actually really impressive. Only one goal a game. That means the goals have been kept to a minimum for Arsenal this season. So that actually, it may look a bad stat, but it's actually quite tremendous when you think about it. And there's obviously, like we said, the brilliance of David Raya, which shone again on Tuesday with that great double save. Of course, he is starting again today. There's some talk that maybe Daniel Jennings will get his shot against Celtic now that Arsenal have qualified. They don't necessarily have to win the game. So will Jennings get his shot coming soon? Arteta really has shown belief in his young players this season. A plethora have been handed their debuts and got some goals for their efforts as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jennings in an Arsenal shirt very soon indeed. So we do to Correa. Correa blocked out by Timber. And many in this Arsenal squad are still quite young themselves. Saka still has room to grow. He's probably in the peak years of his career at this point. Chiquino by Lenny Yaro. And Yaro just came over from Manchester United, if you remember, in a bit of a shock transfer. Just months after joining Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. All the turnover at the club. And Yaro seems to be one of the players that were left behind. But he's found a lifeline because he is in a title challenging side now, and so far he's done very well. That's Correa. And it's a wide shot. Correa has been on Wolves' books for a long time, and I think he's finally joined them. A crazy rumour to talk about Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid for a moment. A crazy rumour we're hearing this week is that Antonio Griezmann could, and I emphasise could, be heading to Spurs of all places. And that would certainly be a statement of intent by Postecoglou to get some goals for the Spurs side. Now, we have a bit of drama here. We have a foul, and Antonio Gomez has been booked. So Totti gets an early booking. Saka will take the resulting free kick. Eventually. Here we go. Move across. Nori and referee threw his hands up to play advantage. I'm not really sure why. Maybe there's a hint of handball somewhere. And Wolves are giving it away. That is really cheaply. To be fair, if they get punished for this, Saka's the man to do it. Vieira. Charlie Patino of all people, and Jose Sá is equal to it. Well, he strangely made the bench in the first game. And maybe not playing him wasn't a good idea. But even with Arsenal's not depleted squad, but definitely a day one season squad that wasn't fully up to strength yet, because all the signings hadn't come through. It only mattered Calvori at that point when the season started. I don't think it would have really mattered who was in goal. Arsenal tend to score no matter what. Even if it doesn't look like they will for about 40 or 45 minutes, they will somewhere. They're almost guaranteed to score. They've only had one 0-0 draw all season. And that was against Bournemouth, and I think that was the only game where they hadn't scored a goal at all. Szymański has been transferred from Besiktas to Midtjylland. Like we said, we've got our eyes on Spurs, who could be signing Antoine Griezmann. That would be some coup. And proof that Atletico Madrid's system is really falling apart right now, because Correa's left them. So maybe there's something going on at Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, that is troubling some of the players maybe. Simeone is, I believe, still manager there. Maybe he's not, and maybe there's been a change, and maybe that's unsettled a couple of the players. Maybe they're looking for new pastures. Here's Gyökeres, who definitely was after the transfer of Ruben Almiron from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United. I mean, Almiron wasn't sacked. He most likely resigned. I mean, it's more of a transfer than anything else. Saka. Nori. Here's Correa. Tackled by Yoro. He's done very well. And fitted in really well with his new environment. And he's getting some game time. Oh, and it's brilliant play by Saka and Isak. Oh, absolutely beautiful play. Once again, the tangible two of Isak and Saka combining well again. Forward there by Lewis Skelly. And Fabio Vieira has been brought down, but advantage gained by Arsenal. Will the referee bring it back for a booking later on? Wolves give the ball away cheaply again to Tierney there. Tino to Isak. With Skelly. Picks out Vieira. And Isak has kept his stride with him. Vieira goes alone and scores. Doesn't need Isak. He can score himself. It's another goal for Arsenal. Doesn't matter how long it takes. They will always score. And this is a result we probably all expected going into the afternoon. Vieira right in the corner. And Mikel Arteta, where is the limit for this team? I don't think we've reached it yet. And it doesn't matter who's out there and how much rotation Arteta has had to do. Arsenal will always score. And Tommy Doyle is getting booked for that challenge earlier. And that's the second player in the book for Wolves. So are we looking at a possible another sending off in our coverage? I think we've been a bit starved for one recently. I think our last one was in the Women's Super League, I believe. A couple of games back. Wolves have been really cheap with the ball in this first half. They need to tighten it up for sure. Skelly to Petito, and now Isaac. Yeah, tackled by Timber. Arsenal have been so sound defensively at times, even if it has resulted in a goal. And who's this? It's Al Nouri who's in the book now. We've got 3 players in the book today. Makes a change. We've normally had a sending off for many of the challenges we've seen so far today. I don't think it's going to be long before we see one, quite frankly. Where is the Wolves defence here? Saka. Bukayo Saka. It's straight at Sarr. He's gathered up. Be played there by Saka. And White was with him. Are we giving the ball away? We'll tag on by Panther now. He's on. 3 bids are valid on time. And I think Arsenal's been more comfortable defending the ball than attacking it. I think Wolves have not even conjured up a shot yet. Fabio Vieira, great turn. Keeping the ball. And the ball is swinging in. I thought it was going to end up with Coutinho for a moment. And Jose Sarr has kicked it out. And Wolves have been very, very sloppy with the ball in this first half. No wonder Arsenal are leading. Their opponents in one form or another always make it easier for them, either by losing the ball on or getting a man sent off. Here's Patino. And that is the end of a thoroughly dominant first half for Arsenal, unlike Fenerbahce last time out. It's been Arsenal that have dominated the ball early on. And another goal for Alexander Isak as he continues to climb towards that record. Wolves have rarely threatened anything at all, quite frankly. Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. Welcome to Molyneux, where there really hasn't been a lot to cheer for Wolves fans this season, and it's only got worse. They're coming up against the perennial title challengers, and they're losing by a goal to 0. And Arsenal have been thoroughly dominant so far, and some substitutes have been made. There's Patino with a shot. Jack Henry Francis has come on again for, I believe it's Lewis Skelly, I think, and Kiwor, I think, has come on for Ben White, I think. And Wolves get a free kick here. So no need to sub Saka and Isak off just yet. Arsenal are only up by 1. You can guarantee that'll change if they go up by another 2 in the second half. They've had all the ball, all the shots, all the possession, and all of everything else, really. Wolves haven't really threatened that much at all, if at all. And here's Gyökeres, who we've not really spoke about a lot so far. Well, here he is, and he's gone down, and that could have easily been a penalty, but the referee's let it go. Arsenal fans at the ground not happy with that decision. Well, next fixture for Wolves is up against Aston Villa. And even in Aston Villa's up and down year, you really can't expect Wolves to get much out of it. Saka! Jose Sarr is having actually a really good game, to be fair. And Tavares, Oliveira is coming off for Kahuna. That's Conchino. And it's a wonder why Kahuna didn't actually start the game. I don't think he started in the reverse fixture either. It's like a bit of shot, but it's pretty ambitious, to be fair. Here's Correa. And Correa tries a shot, but very much like other shots that Wolves have taken, Raya deals it a bit comfortably, to be fair. Here's Correa again, trying to flick over the keeper, and it didn't work. Vieira to Pentino. And now Perez, and he's been dispossessed on that one. And tackled there by Timber. Here's Gyökeres. Perez just strolls into the box here. God, it does get it away for a goal kick. Bizarre. Pretty sure that's a corner. Wolves give it away again. In the story of their season, by the looks of it. Probably should have made more out of that one. And Arsenal just having an easy day of it. Norway to Cahuno and Correa. And Sabria. And finally, a bit of intent from Wolves on that one. Doyle. Sabrina keeps it in. And Doyle and Sabia again. Wall clears it away. Saka. Vieira. Gyökeres. Tino's in front of him, he's found it. And there goes Saka on the run. Great pass for Patino and Saka. And Patino had a good double save by Jose Sarr. He's keeping his team in it, to be fair. I think it was Bentley that started in the previous game. There's Saka again. And that's 2-0. That's another goal for Bukayo Saka as well. He's marked his return with flair and a goal. Well, it's just that deadly attack for Arsenal, which very few teams are able to stop, if any. Only Bournemouth had some measure of success. And that was only really because Aaron Ramsdale was in goal. Much for the Wolves manager to ponder now, but I don't think it matters what an opposing team does. Arsenal always find a way, and they're up by 2-0 and still biting on City's heels. Drop points for City would not go amiss right now, but they may just have to win against City at the Etihad. Well, the Emirates actually. Goal for Newcastle, I think. I'm not sure who that is that scored. And Correa forces a save out of David Raya. That's the first meaningful save he's had to make all afternoon. Someone has parked their vehicle at the emergency exit. So we might have more of a stern word with that guy, to be honest. Sarabia. And Nelson Semedo is actually making way for Podence.
Substitution for Arsenal. Coming off
And Arsenal almost are making a substitution. Bukayo Saka, load management comes on again. Or be switched on again for Mikel Arteta. Reece Nelson has come on. But Saka is just making his return from injury, really. And there's no need to risk him at this point. Naro, great challenge, to be fair. Henry Francis has sort of cooled down a bit from his goal at Manchester United, but to be fair, everyone around him is just galloping off into the distance with him. And Patino there, another good strike, as they saw, equal to it. With the corner and Gyökeres. We could have done a little bit more with that. Well, he's not exploding onto the scene like Moreno or Isak did, for example, but I don't think he was brought to do that, really. Because they already had the out-and-out striker in Isak. If they wanted a rotational striker, then they probably would have gone with someone like Benjamin Sesko, for example. But he's provided great cover for Martinelli and Trossard, so Gyökeres has done the job he was brought to do. Henry Francis has been challenged. And Wolves play on. There wasn't even a call for a foul from anyone there. But Sevilla actually gets punished for that one. Perez doing some defensive duties. And also are just so in control of this game that they're able to really control the pace of it. Nelson and Charlie Patino. And that's saved by Jose Sarr. In comes Nelson. And that's saved by Jose Sarr as well. And very much like other opposing goalkeepers this season, they have a good game after Arsenal have scored. There's the Keywall. Keywall puts it in towards Isak. And I think Isak hurt himself there. And Mikel Arteta will be looking at that with a bated breath. And Kai Havertz literally launches to his feet and starts warming up, as Arteta wants to get Isak off as soon as possible. And Arsenal respond in kind. Well, let's hope it's not a serious injury for Isak, but it could be more of just a panic substitution, just to keep Isak out of the firing line for further injuries like that. He might miss a game or two. I'm not sure if he just pulled a hamstring or something. So he's not out for too long if that's the case. And Yaro, and that should have been a penalty. That should have been a penalty for Wolves. The referee even just waves it away. Yaro, it looked like a great challenge initially, but that should be a penalty. Here's Gyökeres on the other end. And the Wolves players are still complaining to the referee. They should really be getting back on defence. And Nelson finds Patino, who's been looking to score all day, and doesn't get it on that occasion. And now Wolves come forward with Correa. A little bit of a break going on here. Correa zip past Timber, but I think Yaro was able to deal with it. I think that may be a corner. Aldnori's going off for Belgrade. And it was actually a goal kick. Headed forward by Havertz. Nelson gets tackled. And that's the Wolves captain. I don't think it's any of the players in the block at the moment, so they get away with that one. Wolves had 3 players booked in the first half. We haven't had the sending off we expected after 3 Wolves players going in the book, but I think there's only 1 of them left. I think the other 2 may have been substituted, I'm not sure. Well, another day and another comfortable football match for Arsenal, really. They've been in control of this from the off. Wolves rarely threatened. And here is Gyökeres. Good save by Jose Sarr. Oh, they could have been out of sight if not for Jose Sarr, to be honest. He's done well. Here's Gyökeres. And Gyökeres was down. That's a penalty, surely. The referee has given it. And Arsenal have a chance to go 3 up here late on. It's a bad challenge for Kahuna. Can't really do that. In the box, you're always going to give away a penalty 9 times out of 10. Jose Sarr's had a decent game. Who is going up to take it? It is going to be Victor Gyökeres, I believe. And that is coolly dispatched. 3-0 to Arsenal. Jose Sarr doesn't even move. And, well, they boo him, but he doesn't hear them. I don't think they're booing him. I think they're booing the decision. I think even you can't really argue with it. It's a splendid strike. Jose Sarr doesn't even attempt to save it. I think that's been the case with Arsenal scoring penalties this year. When they have, the keepers haven't really made an attempt to save it. 3-0 to Arsenal. A late penalty. 3 points for Arsenal in their title chase. Well, it was 20th against 2nd, and class told for everything here. They have a free kick. Pereira's going to take it. Well, Correa fakes it. The ball sort of jumped, and then the taker put it into Rosed. Well, David Raya has had a very easy afternoon, to be fair. Not had a lot to do. I think he only had one meaningful save to make, while Jose Sarr was much more busier on the other end, such as Arsenal's attacking prowess. But they do have a bit of a worry with Isak possibly out for a bit. Let's hope it's not too long. And not to say that Arsenal's title challenge would be over if Isak went down, because they've more than proved that they don't need him necessarily to score. It certainly would worry them a bit. He walked in towards Nelson, brings it down brilliantly and scores. Just been flipped more misery on Wolves here. Well, Jose Sarr's had a decent game, but he probably should have done better with that strike from Nelson. It wasn't the best strike he ever hit, but he did really well in the build-up, didn't he? Chested it down. Half volley. I don't think it's the greatest hit in the world, but he was placed in the corner. Arsenal have run away with it again. We've still got 3 minutes left to play here. Into Fabio Vieira. Nelson rides that challenge. He's just keeping the ball. And who can blame it? Patino with a header. Well, he's not afraid to score all day, Charlie Patino, but unfortunately it just hasn't happened. He probably should have brought that down, to be fair. This will probably most likely be the last kick of the game from Jose Sarr to end Wolves' miserable afternoon. Confined to the bottom of the table, facing the title challenges, and the form book told the entire story. It was really a stroll for Arsenal this afternoon. 4 goals and just in absolute control from the off. David Raya didn't really have to do much at all whereas Jose Sa was peppered with shots. He did his best, but Arsenal just proved that little bit too strong for Wolves to handle. But they do have a worry. Is Isak out for an extended period? We'll know as we do. Hopefully it's only minor. But Arsenal do take the win today by 4-0. And let's take a look at all the other scores from today and what that means for the league table. And we have a shock result at the Etihad Stadium later. But let's start with Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest with a 1-1 draw. Liverpool consolidate fourth at this point with a 3-1 win of Ipswich. Brighton 0, Everton 0 could be a vital point in the end for Everton, let's hope. Southampton lost to Newcastle. But the vital result is at the Etihad Stadium because Chelsea beat Manchester City, and as a result, Arsenal are now back 2 points in front. Spurs 2, Leicester 2, and Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 1 are other scores. The final score, I think, for today, the final two rather, Aston Villa 2, West Ham 2, and Manchester United lose again by 1-0 against Fulham. So, the title pendulum has swung again. Arsenal now ahead by 2 points, and Newcastle United have closed the gap slightly. They are now 5 points behind them, but now 7 points behind Arsenal with their win. Liverpool 4th, followed by Spurs as they pull out a gap. Chelsea now 6th with their win. West Ham 7th with Brighton 8th. Villa flitting between 9th and 12th, but they're back in 9th today behind Brighton. Brentford still strolling in the top 10 after a nice season by them. So as we go outside, we have Bournemouth now a point behind them on 29. Manchester United, it's, wow, the 12th. Fulham 13th, ahead of Leicester City by about 3 or 4 points, I think. Palace, now this is where relegation gets interesting, because Leicester are 7 points clear of Leicester, yes, that's correct. And then Nottingham Forest on the same, they're on 17 points as well. So 14th to 15th would look pretty safe in another season. I'll have to wait and see how that develops. Everton need to get some more points on the board, but they are still ahead of Ipswich, but only on goal difference now. Southampton are 19th, and Wolves is, I think Wolves could be not relegated, but pretty much almost a shoo-in to do so. Southampton are actually on 15 points as well, so it's a bit of a tight scrap. Wolves, oh no, Wolves aren't completely out of it, but they still have ways to go, especially after today's thumping by Arsenal.